Today I'm going to show you how to install a Neptonics GoPro mount. These mounts fit a wide range of guns. They're very simple, they're sturdy, and they're going to last for a long time. I've taken a lot of great videos with them myself. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, well, I'm going to put on my glasses for the gifted here. We're going to knock these pins out. Some guns have screws. Most of the rifles have got screws and bolts. You just back the screws out and you'll find that this guy will line right up with Rife, Koa, I think Death Stick, Sea Sniper. There's a bunch of guns that this thing fits. Basically anything that uses a Neptonics trigger mount, or I'm sorry, a Neptonics trigger mech will work with this camera mount. And then your one-offs like Rife and Koa. With Koas, I think the trigger holes are almost identical in length, so, or as far as being spaced out, so it works out pretty well. Now I usually get this started with a nail punch, just to keep from hitting the wood accidentally for this thing catching on an edge. And then I've got a roll pin punch. We're just going to gently tap out the pin. One pin down. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. Make sure I grab the right screw. I did not. There's the right screw. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove one pin at a time. And I'm going to put this screw through. Now, I want the camera mount to sit on this side because I've got my line release over on this side. So I want it opposite. I've also got my safety here. So I want to make sure that I've got enough clearance for my safety. And I checked this ahead of time, but you can see there's not a lot of room, but there's enough. It misses by about probably a 1/16 of an inch or so. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this on this side of the gun because we don't want any interference with the line. Because of that, what I like to do is I like all the bolts and hardware on this side of the plate. So we're going to start the screw on the other side. So we're going to go in and feel for where it's at, and because I don't want to take it all day, we'll just use the power drill. And all I'm doing is just giving enough pressure to kind of push it through. I'm not forcing it through or anything like that. I'm not really grooving it. In fact, here you can see that this thing's still turning. But I don't want to oversize the hole. So now I've got enough sticking out on that side. Now that I've got one screw in, I'll go ahead and turn it back over. And we will pop the other screw out. Other screw is out. Or trigger pin rather. We're going to go back into our hole. Now I could just push this through and it would go right on through to the other side. I think there's a song about that. Okay. Alright, some of this is getting cut. There we go. I just want it down flush. So, super simple. So now, we're going to put this guy on here. And that's in place. We're going to take one of our split washers, put it there. And I'm probably going to have to push just a wee bit. There we go. To get it started. There we go. Hang on. Dog's eating the post-it note. Give me my note. Damn it. There's a reminder. Cut band slots. Okay. So we got that bolt started. Looks like it started anyway. Looks like it's crooked actually. There it is. You just got to make sure you find the start of the thread and you're not cross-threading it or anything. That's all. I'm going to put the second one on there. There's our other bolt. It goes on. Make sure it's not, there we go. And now I'm just going to flip it and just turn it, give it a few turns. Whoops. There we go. And I can feel it, the bolt itself, you see, is beginning to move over here. So we'll tighten that down just a wee bit more in a second. Now this one, there it goes. It's being a little bit more of a pickle. So if I was, I'm sure there'll be some shade tree mechanic out there that'll tell me that I'm doing it wrong, but I'm just going to grab these with the edge of the vice grips, and all I'm doing is just holding the nut in one place for a second and just giving it a quarter turn more just to snug it. With that washer, it should be fine, but everybody knows that these things sit on a boat. Boats vibrate, and it makes some racket. So that's it. It's on. So what's really slick about this, where's my other gun? Alright, so that's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just put the GoPro housing on. Usually I don't leave the housing on because you're talking about a bunch of plastic parts on a big heavy spear gun, and if this falls over, or something else in the shop or at your house falls over, you know, maybe somebody tosses a piece of gear in on top of it, you'll break these parts, and then you'll be whining and crying. So we'll just go ahead and tighten this guy up. There we go, getting in there. There we go. So it's on there now. And what's nice is let's say there's a turtle swimming by. I don't want to point the gun at the turtle. I can just turn this to look at the turtle, and then I can loosen it, you know, spin it wherever I want, lock it down. It's got this nice little thumb screw. That's pretty much locked down. When I want to load the gun, I'm just going to roll it back like that, and as I bring my hands back, it's pretty much out of the way. Getting that last tab, your hands are going to be right there as you're trying to get that wishbone over that last tab. But you know, that's part of the game. It can be done, and I've done it many times. So it also depends on where your wishbones are. Most wishbones, in fact, with a standard trigger mac, your first notch, spear notch, is actually going to be up here somewhere on most of your standard macs. With the reverse mech, it brings it back about an inch further. But I've never had a problem loading the gun with any of these. So that's it. So turtle's over there. Simply turn it, shoot across. You can hold the gun out. You get a nice stable photo, you know, because you've got something decent to hold on to. It's got some mass, so you actually get some decent footage. And you know, that's it. When I go to transport this, usually what I'll do, so when I go to transport the camera, usually I'll go ahead and take it off rather than leave it on there, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to leave it on.